NFL free agency has become a hectic time period with a bunch of big moves being made. So far, 2025 is no different. Let's talk about it.
Fasten your seatbelts for the realest Eagles and Sixers YouTuber! One who plays no clickbait and gets to the point! The myth, the legend, Nicky Steez! Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. I'm simply statue thinking slate, dropping unrealistic mad 2K takes for the clip. Even though cats like that get views closer to the millie, never hear me preach, look on to Philly. Before you watch the Eagles all the way through the early 22, authentic talk, forget what others do. Come to my channel, you know the deal. Yo, boy, always keeps things real. The 24/7, 365 way. Sports content for the reals that feel the day.
Yep, it's NFL free agency time again. It's March. The weather's warming up at the Jersey Shore. And that means we got some big moves to talk about. First, we're going to start off by talking about the Los Angeles Rams' big move at wide receiver, acquiring former Packer, former Raider, and former Jet Davante Adams. Now, this was a big move at first because I'm like, wait, Davante Adams to the Rams where you got Nakua and Kupp. But now, since that move's been made, it's also come to my attention that it appears as this Cooper Kupp might be on the move. There have been hints dropping on the internet that Kupp might be moving. Now, nothing's officially been confirmed yet. There hasn't been a contract signed. There hasn't been an announcement about a Cooper Kupp deal with anyone yet. However, I could see this being possible that since the Rams did bring in Davante Adams, because you think about it, they have Nakua, they had Kupp, now you're bringing in Davante Adams. This could be a sign that the Rams are bringing Davante Adams as a replacement for Cooper Kupp, assuming that he goes elsewhere. But nothing's been confirmed yet. Now, we do know this. Matthew Stafford was rumored to hit the free agency block, but he took a pay cut and decided to re-sign a deal. So now the Rams are either looking at a Nakua and Adams 1-2 duo with Adams taking Kupp's spot, or a trio with Nakua, Adams, and possibly Kupp as the slot guy if he ends up staying there. But we still got to wait and see what happens with Cooper Kupp first before we know the full details. Now, Davante Adams, on one hand, let's put it this way for now. If it is true that Cooper Kupp's on the out, Davante Adams could be a solid replacement option for them. It would be interesting to see how he fits in with that offense. Because now I do think, though, he'd fit in much better than he did with the Raiders and the Jets. Because you got Sean McVay there, who in the time with the Rams has led the Rams to a winning record in all but one season, 2 Super Bowl appearances and a Super Bowl victory. And usually the Rams are on the cusp of or either in the playoffs or in contention most of the time. The only season they were really bad was that one season following the Super Bowl win. But outside of that, the Rams have either at least made the playoffs or finished with the winning record. Because they did that 2019 season, they finished with 9 wins with miss. But the point being is, the Rams have always been in the mix in the NFC with Sean McVay. So I would trust that this would work out better for Davante Adams with the Rams than he did with the Raiders under Josh McSnakeoil and the dysfunctional soap opera with the Jets trying to appease Aaron anti-vax Rodgers' ego, but that's beside the point. Now, Davante Adams, after a couple years of toiling between the Raiders and the Jets, he gets to go to a good spot, a team with structure and organization in the Los Angeles Rams. So this looks like this could work out. The other big question is, can Matthew Stafford still hold up at 37 years old? Because he's getting near 40 years old, so how much longer does he have? Maybe 1 or 2 years, theoretically? So you gotta have to hope that Matthew Stafford stays healthy and that he can still go at his age, if you're the Rams. But this does look like this could be a good move here. Whether you bring Kupp back use him as the slot guy and have a trio, or whether you're just using Nakua and Adams, this could be a good, in Kupp walks and Adams is the replacement. This has the potential to work out. Obviously, time will tell if it does or it doesn't, but I think this is good for Davante Adams. I'm happy he's going to a team that actually has some structure, that actually has a history of winning recently. And this looks like it could work out better for him than it did with the Raiders and the Jets. So I'm happy for Davante Adams. He gets to go to a better team. But time will tell how that works out. Now we're going to switch gears and talk about their NFC West division rival, the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are going full-blown rebuild. They already traded Geno Smith to the Raiders. He's reuniting with his former coach, Pete Carroll. And now, as of yesterday, they traded DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a second-round pick in this upcoming draft. How I feel about this? Look, obviously DK wanted out. The Seahawks, who've been mediocre the past couple years, they've been like, look, we're going to go rebuild. We've been stuck as a mediocre team. We'd be better off in the long term just blowing it up and having a better chance in the future than just staying stuck in mediocrity for another few years than being terrible for the next 7 or 8 years. They decide, let's just rebuild now while we have the opportunity to try to build a better future. Even if it may suck at first, hey, if we can rebuild and become contenders a few years, it'll be worth it. And that's where the Seahawks are coming from. Now, for DK Metcalf, he gets a fresh start in Pittsburgh. He'll be there with George Pickens, and they'll have the 1-2 duo receiver. Now, that's good for Pittsburgh's receiver room, gives them another weapon. But the big question for the Steelers is, what are they doing at quarterback? Are they going to bring back Russell Wilson, pair him back up with his former receiver in Metcalf, or are they going to try with Justin Fields and actually give it a go with him? I think most likely they'd lean toward Wilson because it seems like Tomlin is higher on him, but we'll have to wait and see what the Steelers do to follow this up. But it's good for the receiver room. For Metcalf, it gives him a team where he'll get a ton of targets, and it'll be able to appease him. He'll be productive on the field. He'll get a lot of targets, which will be good for him. And he goes to a team that's willing to take on his contract, so he'll get his money as well. So Metcalf, is certainly happy about that. Now for the Seahawks, it's full-blown rebuild time. You get an extra draft pick in this for the second round. Obviously, the Seahawks, you got to get a quarterback in this draft. You have to. You got to go for a quarterback while you have the chance to. You don't want to make the same mistake the Raiders made in last year's draft of not going for a quarterback, because you saw how that hurt them during the season. You want to get that quarterback. And then also they did re-sign Ernest Jones to a 3-year deal worth $33 million. They see him as a key contributor to that defense in the rebuild. And he certainly, as of now, he's one of the more valuable players on their roster, which isn't saying much, but it's nice for Ernest Jones. He gets himself a solid deal, and the Seahawks at least get themselves a good piece to help on the defensive side of the ball. But obviously they still need to focus on rebuilding that offense. You got Jackson Smith as your number one receiver. You're going to need another receiver at some point, either via free agency, you're going to need to sign a number 2, or trade for a number 2, or you're going to have to find somebody later in the draft. You definitely need a quarterback, though. And for the Steelers, they still got to figure out who's their answer at quarterback, though. Now, Metcalf, that should be a nice upgrade at receiver, but you still got to find that quarterback for the future, though. And that's how I stand there. Last subject I'm going to talk about in this one, we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills re-signing Josh Allen to a 6-year extension. Oh, that's a good one, right? Obviously, Josh Allen's off an MVP year. He's the face of your franchise. You do what you can to make that man happy. It's pretty straightforward. Nothing else to say there. But actually, there is one more subject now that I think about it. The Washington Commanders. Obviously, we know they're going all in next year trying to contend. They got their quarterback of the future in Jaden Daniels. They got themselves Deebo Samuel. They took on his contract, but they were also able to get Zach Ertz, the tight end, and Bobby Wagner, the former Seahawks linebacker, back on 1-year deals. Those two guys were key veterans in their success last year. Obviously, they want to bring them back, which, hey, for us as Eagles fans, like I said, the Commanders are the team to watch out for. Now with a different front office, that has a more sound football mind than the previous owner, obviously this Commanders team looks like a team to be reckoned with in the future that's going to compete with the Eagles. I feel like because the Giants, they're in a huge deep rebuild. Cowboys are starting to crash. They're starting to rebuild. So it looks like it's going to be the Eagles and Commanders as the top teams in the NFC East, because so far the Commanders are making good moves, bringing back 2 of their valuable veterans, trading for Deebo Samuel, which could be a hit, but so far it looks like they're making good moves as well. And that's all I got to say for now, though. I can't really elaborate a whole lot now because we still got to wait and see. What are the Seahawks going to do in free agency in the draft? What are the Steelers going to do? How are they going to follow it up? What do the Commanders do with the rest of free agency in the draft? We still got to wait and see what the teams discussed in this video do to follow up these moves. So there's not going to be a lot more to say at the moment. But we'll keep an eye out to see what's going on, what the other big moves in the NFL are. I'll be here to talk about it. I'll do some videos. Got some live streams coming. Also got a new show debuting Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the 3-Point Blitz. Going to be discussing NFL and NBA related subjects, and that's where we'll do a lot of free agency talk on that as well. So that's all I got for you for now. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more NFL content, and if you're also an NBA fan, for NBA content as well. Feel free to leave a comment, let me know what you think of the moves discussed in this video. Also, make sure to have a great rest of your day, and until next time, it's your boy Nicky Steez signing off. Peace.